Hey everyone, it is Crafty Sue again. Today we're going to go a different route. Um, Fixing sewing machines is one thing, but when you get a part that goes with your sewing machine and it's broken, that's another ballgame. Um, I got a sewing machine here that came, and I guess the box had been tossed around a little bit, or maybe they actually broke the pedal. I don't know, but the pedal that came with it came broken. Now you and I, well, most of us, people who are new at this haven't experienced it probably just yet. Um, Replacing a pedal, foot pedal, for a sewing machine is not very inexpensive. It's actually sometimes more expensive than it should be. But then again, um, it's it's imperative that you have a foot pedal for power to the machine that you're going to use. Now, when I received this, and I've already started doing some patching of it, but when I received this foot pedal, and this is a vintage Singer pedal, it's heavy duty, so how they broke this, I have no idea. I mean, this is thick plastic. I mean, look at it. It's not, so I don't know, did they get mad at their sewing machine, decide to kick the pedal? I don't know. But anyway, um, so when I got the package, I opened it up, and there's a big chunk of plastic missing on the top of this top part of the pedal, and there was no peg on this side. In this design, you have a peg on this side, and one's supposed to be on this side, and you have to kind of like, to take it apart, like if it stops working, you want to check it out. To take it apart, you have to kind of like wiggle it a little bit, and I always cross my fingers and hope and pray I don't break it. Well, this one's already broken for me. So there is, I guess there's a multitude of ways to fix a foot pedal like this that's broken. If the pieces are still intact, that's easy. Super glue. And of course I would super glue it and then reinforce it with some kind of poly resin over top, just because it's a foot pedal and it's going to get a lot of pressure added to it. So for this, I discovered a while back an item that's an as seen on TV, and sometimes those things are great and sometimes they don't work at all. This one actually works. It says, it's called Might Putty, or I called it Mighty Putty. I think they left the letter off. Might Putty sounds weird. But, so it comes with 3 little containers like this, 1, 2, 3. And that's awesome, because this stuff goes a long way. You don't need to use a lot of it when you're fixing something. It professes to be great on wood, ceramics, stops leaks, wallboard, concrete, PVC. PVC being a plastic, I thought it'll work on a foot pedal. So I found that in my workshop, and I thought, well, I need the pedal for the sewing machine. So I'm going to fix it, because this pedal alone is about $35 to $40, and just not in my budget right now. So the way you work with this stuff is, if you've ever made homemade bread or made cookie dough, from scratch, then what you do is you knead it, and the purpose of kneading is to put all the ingredients together, so that way when it cooks and it rises, it evenly, does the process. Well, it's the same with this. This putty is green on the outside, white on the inside, and this is one that I haven't used yet. And it comes wrapped in this little plastic liner. You want to make sure that's kept on it after you take the pieces off that you're using, and make sure you put it back in its container with the lid. Otherwise it will harden up and dry out, and then you'll be mad. And needlessly so. So, and then it has a little foil end on it. And there it has the green and white swirled in there. And what you do is you pinch off a piece of it to however big you think you're going to need. And then what I did with this was I noticed a really interesting thing about the other peg, the one that this was made with. I thought that this was glued in place. I was wrong. It's not glued in place at all. As a matter of fact, all you have to do is tap it a few times, and it comes right out. And that gave me an idea. I have broken foot pedals before because they're made so snug. You know, they're made so tight that it doesn't take much. It takes very little frustration to make them come apart. So I thought to myself, when I fix this, I'm going to make it so that if I ever had to open this, say it stops running one day, and I need to look into it, see what's going on, all I have to do is pull the peg out, and it'll come apart. But while I'm using it, it'll stay put. What an idea. So that's what I did, or what I'm doing. I used this peg as my pattern. Sewing term, hello. And then I thought to myself, what do I have in the house that's similar to this? You know, like this size. You know, that big around. Doesn't have to be that long, just that big around, because it's the hole that you have to repair to put a peg into. Now, I could have used wooden dowel for it. That's an idea too. But I don't have any of this. But I actually could have used this. It's a bamboo skewer. Now, because it's just a little bit, just a teensy weensy bit smaller in diameter than the actual peg that's in the pedal, this was just my guide to it. I'm still going to make the piece that fits into that peg hole the size, so it'll be snug, so that you don't have this wobbling thing going on with the new setup of fixing it. So on the other side, the bottom part that attaches to, the two spots where those pegs go, I also thought those were all the way through. That would have made it really easy, but they're not. It's still not hard. They only go in so far. So I figured out that actually fits. Bamboo, but see, it's got a lot of give. So whatever I make to go in there has to be a little bit larger than the diameter of this. I was concerned about the length, which you should be, in the respect of you want it to go in far enough that it stays in, but not so much that it falls out. So I used the bamboo skewer and I stuck it in there. Then I took my finger and marked with my fingernail where it stopped, and then I took a Sharpie marker and darkened the end of it. Now the reason why I did that is the length that I need to have fit inside. Outside, it's free reign. You know, I can have it extra long so that I have a nice long pin to pull out or not. Well, I'm not going to make it that long. So after I had that measurement, I took my putty. I've actually started another one because I didn't like the first one I did. And I rolled it out. And that's what I came up with. Now, I'm keeping it flat on the surface here so that as it dries, it will retain the shape. Recreating the holes, another story. You just have to take your time. The awesome thing about this also is, have you ever done pottery before? If you haven't, you need to try it because it's so relaxing. I started sewing, that's why I sewed. But on this product, it acts just like modeling clay in the respect of you can use a tiny bit of water to it if it starts drying on your nose, and it's also to smooth it out. So what I do is, after I've pressed it on here, but this is actually from yesterday, so it's pretty dry. However, just like with regular clay, the thicker the clay, the longer it takes to dry. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, for a foot pedal like this, I'm probably going to let this sit for about 3 or 4 days, just so it's solid, and I'm still messing with it, and this is only day 2. So, you know, after I finish with it tonight, if I'm happy with what the final product looks like, then yeah, I will wait another 3 days at least. I'm thinking more 4 because I want to be better safe than sorry. But So I have my peg already shaped up here. And then I started forming it on here. And you'll do a lot of this. Look on the other side, from this side. Okay, and you do this. Now it's really kind of bumpy. And I'm going to show you that adding just a little bit of water, because it's not totally dry. Now by the end of tomorrow it would have been. Now it's going to have to take another day. But you just take the water, you soften it up to where it reactivates the properties of the putty. It's basically what it does. It's just like with clay. I mean, it makes it think, oh, I'm fresh again and I can be molded some more. That's what it's doing to the putty. It's making it think it's clay. So also, when you're doing it like this, it smooths it out and it seems more flush, like it's the natural shape of it. Now I do have, you can see, I still have a ding in here. I got a dent down here. So all I need is a little piece of putty to fix that. Oh, and I will tell you, this stuff will turn your hands a light mint green. And it does take a minute to wash out, but it's all worth it. I mean, you're going to have a foot pedal that works. So here's where you do the kneading part. You just kind of roll it around in your fingers. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, until the green and the white become like a striped green and white. Or mostly light green. I'm sure that, and it doesn't tell you in the package how long to do this. You just kind of like, it says, but you have to knead it to activate it. That, what it does, it's the chemistry of it. So then I'm going to take this piece and just show you that even though this is basically dried, I can still mold more to it to make it more the natural shape that it was. And do that way. So now it's looking much better. Got to keep an eye on the thickness of it. But don't want it to be so thick that the channel that's in the base, that it won't fit. So that you have to be attentive to also. Make sure that the thickness is the right thickness. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to, when I was looking through, I had a machine that needed a pedal, and I found one. Guess what? It broke. I guess this is my week for broken pedals. So go like this. And I think that's going to be pretty hunky-dory. Now I will wait until this is completely dry, in the sense of dry, not cured. There's a difference between dried and cured. Cured means it's never going to let you add water to it and move it around. Oh, this is paintable too, which is awesome. The other reason why this bamboo skewer comes in handy is like the hole that peg's going to go in, it's got to be round enough to hold it. And you can just kind of wiggle that in there as it's doing its thing. And if push comes to shove and you go to put your handmade peg in there and it doesn't go in, you can always take a little hand file, round hand file, and file it. And you can just, wiggle it around in there and it'll do it. So that is that part. Now the other thing is this does sand fairly well. Cover up my peg over there. Okay, I don't want to lose that. So I just grabbed, and we had some sandpaper in the garage. It's like for a palm sander. I don't know what grade or whatever. And tore off a little piece. And you can just by hand. I would not use a Dremel tool on this because this is like still fresh. But you can take sandpaper and like where there's a little gap between the putty and the plastic, you can just kind of smooth it down. And when this is all done, you just get some spray paint, spray it, make it look like it's brand spanking new. So that's that. You just kind of, you see it's still kind of wet, so I need to let that dry. When it's dry, I would say 48 hours. When it's thick like this, I would give it 48 hours before I start sanding it. And sanding it to smooth it down, because I don't know if you can see, but on the inside, it's pretty darn bumpy. And that's another place where you could use a hand file. You can use a nail file too. But make sure it's a nail file you don't want to keep. You just want to use it for your craft time. But, So when that's all said and done, that'll be awesome. And I know that my little, see my peg, it's just been sitting here for this few minutes. It's already, once you drop it, it goes clunk. It's getting hard. All right, well, look, it's not that thick. That's why. You know, thinner, dries faster. That's that one. And I'll have a follow-up so you can see how it turned out. Now the other petal that's broken looks like this. Yeah, well, the problem with that is, guess what's missing? The other hole. Yeah, one hole on one side. Matching on the other side, it's gone. I still don't know how they're breaking these petals like this. I've taken these kind of petals apart a lot. Even wiggling it off, you can't break it like that. Someone got frustrated. But with this one, what I would have to do is be very attentive to this shape, what it looks like. The other thing you can do, and I don't know that. Let me see. I wanted to show you how to get a piece of paper, and the side that's not broken, you're going to make a template. And you put it on the paper. You're going to take your pen or pencil, and you're going to go along the edge from underneath and over top, and I gotta just kind of cut it off at the other end. And then you take that template and you place it on this side. Make sure it matches up, with the shape of it. And then what you do is, when you're forming your clay for it, you lay it down on the paper long enough to, let me do this really good. Actually, this is a better way. Well, pottery class is coming back to me. So this last little piece I have that was in the package, there's that little silver piece. I get in there. Well, anyway, trying to get it off of there. So you take the putty. Trying not to waste any of this stuff is so awesome. Never thought I'd be that thrilled about something so messy. Yeah. But I'm going to open another one because that space right there tells me I'm going to need more than just a little piece. So this one, you kind of go like this. And keep the plastic on it. Get the end off. Now, I will put that end back on there just because it's, it's full size. I'm not going to be using this whole thing. And pinch off about a 1/4 inch. Close that back up. Put the top on it. Keep it from getting air dried. And stick it in there. I usually put them in upside down because that way the end that was taking the piece off of, it's not. It's sitting against something to keep it in there. Hopefully. Okay. Now we're gonna get some really yucky looking hands. I told you it's gonna make your fingers. Yeah. But in the end, you have a petal you can use. So this one, kind of like the same deal as far as that goes. Only difference is this one, both pegs are intact. So when you do something like this, and you can't make it so you can take it apart, like pull the peg out, like I'm doing with the other one, you want to really let this cure the full length. If you can let it sit for a week, do it. Get out your backup sewing machine. I do. Got lots of backup sewing. So now we've got a really lovely mint green color. And since I've got this plastic cloth on the table, let's see if I can tilt this for you. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So you're going to take it. You can use plastic wrap, wax paper. Put that down there and set this thing right on it. And then pull it up like that. Now, I've got to figure out where to hold those. So, what I'm going to do, take my trusty bamboo skewer, put it through the one hole. And this actually still has, let me show you, the bottom part there is still kind of rounded. It's just the top that's missing. So, put your bamboo skewer through here. We already know that the peg hole is going to have to be bigger, and you let it rest in there as if it was part of it. Then go and mold it around it. Now this takes a little bit of doing, a lot of patience. You can do it. You're going to get to use your sewing machine when it's fixed, right? So you do like that. Like you can do the template and form it on the template, or you can do it exactly like this where you're doing it right on the petal itself. This one wants to stick to me. So that's why sometimes I'll put a little extra in there, because you can always file it down to the size you need. So go like that. And I'm going to take that out for the moment because I need some more of the green stuff. See, I should have never put that away. I should have left that out. So, turn that off. Now after you've taken enough of this off, you can actually just fold down the top and not put the foil back on it. So let's do like this. And what I'm trying to do is get enough on there that I don't have to come back and like add stuff to it. I mean, it's a great stress reliever, by the way. I mean, anytime you use your hands, it's a good thing. And I don't know if I would want to do anything other than be creative with my hands. There's something about it. Kind of like playing in the dirt in the garden, yeah? Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing with this piece, but I want to cover where the hole is and then dig it out. Sometimes that's easier. You just kind of put it on there. Yeah, it's too thick, I know. With any excess, I can just smooth off that. Didn't know you were going to have art class today, did you? I just like fixing things. Otherwise, I wouldn't fix sewing machines, and I wouldn't fix clothes and stuff like that. Now you'll see that it had that crack on the top. I took that extra piece and I'm filling that hole. Now sometimes what you might want to do, and I've done this before, on the back side of it where you're pushing the clay into, you can put a piece of, say, wax paper or plastic wrap. Wax paper works really well because it doesn't give as easily as plastic wrap would in that respect. But I'm going to do like that. This is coming along. Nope, I don't have a hole anymore, do I? So this is where you want to go this way. On the other side where you know that the half circle is still there. Put that little guy through, and now you can finish shaping around it, around that hole. Now the way you're going to actually be able to test that hole is the right size, you can always take the peg out of the other petal and measure it that way. It's not a bad idea. Well, there was a reason why I had two broken petals after all. One is going to help the other one figure it out. How about that? That's pretty cool. And like I said, if it doesn't seem to be the right size, it seems too small, then sometimes clay type products will shrink as they dry. This doesn't really shrink as it dries. It kind of like, as it dries, it stays the same, pretty much the same size, which is a plus. Real clay shrinks. And I guess it's because of the water content. It doesn't have a whole lot of water in it. I don't know what's in it, but it works. So I'm going to finish squeezing this around. And hopefully everybody's getting ready for the holiday season coming up. I am not ready. Nope, not in the way. I'm usually pretty good about it, but it's busy. So there. Well, it's not going to look exactly like the other side, but you can always sit there with a sanding block and keep messing with that thing until it looks absolutely perfect. But it doesn't have to. It's going under your foot. You're the only one that's going to see it, really. as long as it's functional, that's the important part. So I got what I like on the other foot pedal. I got to the point on this side that I built it up a little bigger and then sanded it down to where it needed to be. And that's more is better in this case. Just like when I go buy fabric for a sewing project, I will buy a 1/4 yard more just in case. That extra 9 inches can come in real handy. So now, since I've kind of did the hole before, I'm going to go on the outside and just kind of get it in there. They swirl it around a little bit. And that turned out pretty good. So far, so good. So with that, I'm going to let that dry. It's okay if it dries too chunky. We have sandpaper, and we have a Dremel tool. Actually, we have 2. One's mine. And one of mine. And so I thought I was only going to fix 1 foot pedal, and I ended up having to fix 2. That's all good. And so like the other side, like the other pedal, I kind of have a couple of valleys here, but I don't want to have it too thick that it doesn't dry well. So that's why I left that one just like that. And I will finish that tomorrow after it's dried overnight, because then it will be stiff enough to do that with it. Oh, I've lost my thing. Okay, where is it going? Anyway. So that is my arts and crafts sewing lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, it's really great when you can actually fix something instead of having to buy something new. If it's a minor thing like that, to me that's minor. And I've got to figure out where I bought this from so I can buy some more. I've seen on TV, probably online. I could find it. I'm guessing. But great item, not expensive at all. Does the job. That's the main part. Keeps you from spending an extra 30, 40, 50, whatever dollars on a new foot pedal. That's even better. And I don't have to spend it either because I know how to fix it. I have those brains, which is like, I can do that. This green stuff, it's going to take me a while to get it off. But you use some, probably Gojo, but lost. Oh, I put it right there by the other pedal. Now let's see how it's doing. Oh yeah, I could still bend it, but it's pretty solid. Pretty solid. And when I have the finished product, then I will definitely share with you all. If you will do me a favor, I need you to share comments. I need to hear you. I need to know you're out there. I can hear you breathing. I know I'm a goofy person. That's okay. My kids tell me that all the time. But I enjoy this. I enjoy sewing. I enjoy fixing sewing machines. I enjoy now fixing plastic pedals without having to buy one. And I'd like to know what you'd like to do. I'd love to see photos of some of the things that you do. You can message me. Please comment. Please like. Please share. And whatever you do, don't ever lose your passion for creativity. It always brings a smile. And it doesn't always have to bring a smile just to you. That's why I do my little videos for you. Because even if you don't like putty, I hope I can make you smile. Anyways, with that being said, I got some other things. Oh, forgot one thing. Carrying case. You ever had a carrying case that was cracked on it? I have one somewhere that I fixed. And then I fixed it. I fixed it so good I can't find it. And that's terrible. But anyway, I have a carrying case that had a big crack on it. And you do the same thing with the putty, with it inside, outside, smooth it out, a little bit of water, and you can sand it down if you want. And if you want to put a poly resin on top of that, because of the weight of the sewing machine, I do suggest to do that. Or JB Weld is another product that's very good for fixing those kind of things. Actually, the JB Weld, since it's clear, would be great for that. After you do the putty thing, put the JB Weld on top of that and keep the strength of it. Sorry, I couldn't find the cover. I probably put it away where it's supposed to go. So I'm going to clean this green stuff off my hands, and I wish you all a great day, night, whatever time of day you're watching this. And please do like, share, comment, subscribe. I'd love to be able to do some little goofy videos for y'all. And let me know what you'd like to see. I'm waiting for those comments because I'm having a contest coming up soon, and the three people I said needed to have the bravery to leave comments. They haven't done it yet, so there's still time. The cutoff date is Thanksgiving Day. After Thanksgiving Day, no more hints. Have a great day, night, evening, afternoon. Thank you for watching me. And as I always say, find your passion, be creative, keep sewing, or something that has to do with sewing machines.